Getting into this video, I apologize if we get 1,000 different 1,000 different dings, but I have my ringer on because I'm waiting on a call from UT Southwestern. They just called but didn't leave a message, of course. So I don't think I'm going to sugarcoat this on the title. I gotta know I have a diagnosis. It feels so weird to say. I feel like I'm living in an alternate universe right now. So, yeah. If you're new here, hi. This is a really bad video to start. Or maybe not. Who knows? I'm gonna give like a TLDR, kind of road so far, how we got here kind of thing. And then I'll tell you what it is, and then tell you what the plan is going forward. So let's start. I became symptomatic in October 2016. I should refresh that and say the symptoms became noticeable, like started disrupting my life in 2016. I went through countless tests. I was poked and prodded, had my brain scanned, all of it. And in July of 2017, I was diagnosed with a disease called myasthenia gravis. And myasthenia just means muscle weakness. Gravis, I think, means it was autoimmune. And so I had that diagnosis until 2021. I was being treated for that diagnosis up until like 2021. I'd started a therapy called IVIG, which is basically when you get a immunoglobulin from blood donors. So it's risky. I mean, it's not high risk, but it is still a risky therapy. And I was still hooked up to an IV when the neurologist called and said, tying up loose ends because I'm retiring, I misdiagnosed you. You don't have myasthenia gravis. You just have chronic fatigue syndrome. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? So basically I spent the first half of 2022 being poked and prodded and going to doctors who basically just wrote me off. One of them said, it's probably rare, but we don't deal with rare diseases. Another one said, it's probably just fibro. And the other one said, I don't know what it is and I don't know what we would test you for going forward. So I was kind of just left being done. I told my husband, I'm done. I don't want to talk to a doctor. I don't want to do anything other than what I'm doing for maintenance with rheumatoid arthritis and stuff like that. So in the spring of this year, I got an ad on Facebook for a company called sequencing.com. It's basically DNA testing, but it's not ancestral. It's more medicinal. So I got all this data and I didn't really know what to do with it. So I kind of sat on it for a while, and I don't even know how the conversation started, but I started talking about this with my gynecologist. She was like, whoa. She's like, you need to see a genetic counselor. And I said, I can do that without a referral? She said, yeah. Sorry, I gotta put on. My hands are really dry. I had asked for genetic testing in 2022, and that's the doctor that said, I don't even know what we would test you for. Okay. So I get on, I just Googled genetic counseling, and Baylor popped up, and this company popped up, and I called and started this process at the 1st of August. The first genetic counselor I spoke to very much validated all of the symptoms and the weird symptoms that I had been having. And she's like, I think it's one of two things. She said it's either congenital myasthenic syndrome, she said, or it's this particular type of muscular dystrophy. She said, but let's run some tests and we'll find out. So the first test was a neuromuscular panel, and you would figure doctors who subspecialize in neuromuscular diseases would think to check that. And I have a theory why they didn't. We'll talk about that in a minute. So we ran that panel, and it came back with what's it called? It was to the fact that they don't know how much of an effect that had on the gene and that is having on the disease. So they weren't able to say definitively that's what I had. So I saw 2 neurologists, the one from the other, because I was already established, and he was like, no. He's like, it's absolutely not that or anything like that. Okay. Well, you can get a second opinion if you feel like you need one. Okay. So I had the second opinion just last week. God damn. I think it was last Monday. And he basically was like, no, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's not neurological. It's not. I said, okay. So Rob's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm just going to wait. I think I told you guys that too. I was like, I'm just going to wait for the results to see if they show anything. So I took the test a few weeks ago now, probably maybe 2 weeks at this point. And I was told that I probably wouldn't get any results until the end of the year. So imagine my surprise when I'm sitting on the couch as we're watching the Bills lose on Monday Night Football, and I get an email saying that my test results were ready. And I was like, okay. And at this point, I was 100% expecting it to say there was nothing wrong with me, because that has kind of been the trend through all of this testing. You guys, I've probably had hundreds of blood draws at this point. I've had 2 nerve conduction studies, well 3 if you count the one that supposedly was done at the very beginning. I've had a brain MRI. I've since had back surgery and been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and I have all of these issues going on, but we weren't able to get to like the weakness. And so I've just been struggling. The IVIG was helping. I don't know why, now knowing what I have, I don't know why it was helping, but it was. And so I'm trying to get to a point where we can either do that along with other things or whatever. So anyway, I'm sitting on the couch and I pull up this test result and it says positive. And I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Rob's like, what's the matter? I was like, I got my test result and I can't read it. I'm going to print it. So I came in here and printed it, and I was like, does that say what I think it says? And he said, yes. He said, but let's not put the cart before the horse. I was like, I'm going to call the genetic counselor tomorrow, which was Tuesday, and schedule an appointment. And she saw me today, and she confirmed that this test has officially diagnosed me with FSHD1, which is fascio, scapula. It's the last little bit that gets me. Facioscapulohumeral muscular dystrophy. And it's basically, it affects, let me pull it up. It's a genetic muscle disorder with which the muscles of the face, shoulder blades, and upper arms are the most affected. So it is basically, it's progressive muscle degeneration with increasing weakness and atrophy, loss of bulk. Weakness first and most seriously affects the face, shoulders, and upper arms, but the disease usually also causes weakness in other muscles. It's the 3rd most common type. So symptoms usually begin before age 30 with weakness or atrophy of muscles around the eyes and mouth, shoulders, abdominal muscles, upper arms, and lower legs. Some experts divide it into adult onset, but I have, it's dominant, so it's definitely inherited, and it, the biggest issue is that there's no drug for it, there's no real treatment for it. So there's another kind of worse type of muscular dystrophy called Duchenne, and I think that's probably one of the most popular. I read that they're doing genetic gene therapy. So basically they're messing with the genes to reverse the mutation. And she said there's a couple of clinical trials that she's going to send me information on, and I can choose to join them or choose not to. She let me know about the FSHD Society, which I already knew about because I Google. And you guys, that video their video, I was like, holy flip. Like, I feel blessed that I don't have nearly as many symptoms as some of these people have. And with any degree, there's varying, there's varying, and it's not like it's not a, what's the word? It's not like a race. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You guys know what I'm trying to say, hopefully. Like, like, just because my symptoms aren't as bad as someone else doesn't mean that, anyway, I know what I'm trying to say, but my brain, oh my God, my brain. So basically, she's like, what do you think of that? And I said, it tracks. She's like, it sure does. And she said, what sold it for me, oh, let me take my glasses off, sorry. She said, what sold it for me is when you told me that your eyelid muscle started messing around. And I said, yeah. So I have a video of it. I'll see if it's clear, but this muscle right here, it's not fluttering like when you have stress. It's literally tugging. It's tugging my lid down. I don't know if you guys can tell just how much of a difference there is between my left eye and right eye as far as like how far it's open. It's always been like that. And I've always asked, why is one eye so much bigger than the other? Well, with FSHD, you may be someone who can't close their lids all the way. And a lot of time, if you have a baby or a child who sleeps with their eyes open, not like all the way closed, that could be a symptom of this. So I was like, okay. And she said, that kind of sold it for me. She said, now we can stop the exome testing. And I was like, no. I said, it's already been, we've already started. It's covered by insurance. I said, at this point, we might as well just find out everything. And she said, this result won't show up on that test because this was, you guys, this is so specific. It was like something on chromosome, something like the little tiniest bit at the end. She said it didn't close or something like that. So, yeah, that's it. FSHD1. I think 1 is dominant and 2 is recessive. I don't know. I asked her that. I said, I read that, it's either passed down, I said, or your body just spontaneously has a genetic mutation. And she said, yours is passed down. So my dilemma is that I am no contact with my mother, and my father and now his mother have passed away. In fact, last Friday and Sunday. So Friday was the anniversary. Friday she died. Sunday was the anniversary of his passing. Monday was the 14th anniversary of us getting engaged. And that night, I got these results. To say that the last few days have been overwhelming would be She said, how are you feeling? And I said, every emotion. I said, I have every emotion. I said, I feel validated. I said, I am so grateful for you. I said, because you validated those first few symptoms and I appreciate that. And she said, but you kept pushing. She's like, you're the one that kept pushing. You knew something was wrong with your body. And I said, yeah. And I said, that's where I get so angry at UT Southwestern. I said, because they're an MDA certified care center. You're telling me that you have an MDA care center and you guys didn't think the test for muscular dystrophy? Here I am having muscle weakness. So I am furious. And the issue is both places, you guys, both places that are MDA care centers in Dallas, Texas are the 2 places I've gone and been dismissed. And I 100% believe I was dismissed because I'm fat. I 100% believe that. It's because I'm fat. They thought that I'm weak because my body is carrying all this weight. And that's probably some of it, for sure. But I'm so mad and so frustrated. I called UT Southwestern and asked to speak to the manager of the neurology clinic. And they called back, but they didn't leave a message. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. But both of these clinics won't allow you to doctor hop. But I feel like there should be an exception made for me. Because I want to meet with a neurologist who specializes in this. And they have a couple of them that seem like they specialize with this. So as far as treatment go, you're like it says physicist, PHYSIAST. There's someone that kind of gets you started in like rehabilitation, basically. So, they would set up a physical therapist to help me with exercises. They would set up, occupational therapy to help with exercises. I told Rob today, I was like, do you want to see a real life version of rheumatoid arthritis? And he's like, yeah. And I don't think you guys would be able to tell, but this knuckle is swole, and the joints on either side, I think these are the joints on either side, are swole, where I don't have that on my other fingers. So I was like, real life version of here you go, rheumatoid arthritis in real life. So what was I saying? I don't remember. I want to work with someone who is familiar with this, and I don't want to work with either of them. I don't want to. And I feel like there needs to be some kind of training or something. I don't know what, but you are an MDA care center and you didn't think to test me for muscular dystrophy at all. Oh, it's something rare. And guys, this is exactly what she said to me. Oh, it's probably something rare, but we don't deal with rare diseases. Maybe there's not a test for it yet. And I feel like I have every right to be pissed off. I did the work. I did this. I did the work. I got my diagnosis. Me. No one has advocated for me. No one. No one. And it pisses me off. So I've got to call in to the UT Southwestern manager over the neurology clinic to see if I can move to a different doctor. There are 3 that I saw on their website that I feel like might be a good fit. We'll have to see. I'm going to make an appointment with an audiologist because it does cause hearing loss. And I started having hearing loss in my early 30s, maybe even my late 20s. Like it's pretty rough. Okay, that's a friend, sorry. So yeah. My other options are, there's a Baylor. She said we work with Baylor, and Baylor is really good, but that is in Houston. It was about 4.5 hours away. There's one in Mansfield, which isn't like hours and hours away. There's Integris in Oklahoma City. I have friends that live in Oklahoma City. I'm from Oklahoma, so that could be an option. They'd probably let us stay with them. There's also the Mayo Clinic in Austin. I may reach out to see if I can make an appointment now that I have a diagnosis. Does it feel so weird to say? If you go back 7 years and you watch my diagnosis video, I feel like it's 2 very different Misties. I look different, number one, because she was doing keto and looking fine and fly, and I've just been eating whatever the fuck I want to put in my mouth, and I am swole as fuck. Someone asked me if there's a test to tell if you have edema. I mean, you should be able to tell if you have any swelling. Seriously. And if I can find a picture, I will insert it, but I'm talking about swelling. Like, swole. From carbs. Carbs do it. And I know that. We've had this conversation 100 million times. I know carbs cause edema. They cause me to hold on to water weight. Water. I know that carbs can cause inflammation, hence the flare-up of the rheumatoid arthritis in my knuckles. I know all of these things, but yet I still chose to do it to myself, and that is a conversation I'm going to have with my therapist. I'm really surprised I didn't cry in this video. Like 100% expected to cry. Like, really expected to cry. I literally sat on the couch, you guys, like this. like Friday night. I was just like, he's like, I wouldn't tell anybody yet, but I told 2 of my friends because I had to tell somebody. But I didn't want to tell friends and family, like, you know, more family until I knew for certain, because I don't know which side it comes from. So I sent the information to my sister and was like, pass it along to our cousins. I sent the information to my uncle to pass along to my mother, and I sent it to my brother so he would be able to, you know, he's like, that's expensive. That's like, it may be covered by insurance. It may be covered through the nation. I said, and you don't have to do anything with it. I said, but if you feel like you're having any of these symptoms, I said, it might be worth just a check. And Sam, who is my genetic counselor, she was like, you know, you need to see a neurologist. She said, but you may only need to see one like once or twice a year. She said, because, you know, really it's going to be your, you know, your physical therapist and stuff like that. So I need to get that set up for home again because I can't drive. And now I know I'll never drive. I think that's the hardest part of all of this, is I was so hopeful that it was something that I had that can be treated. And yeah, there's exercises and stuff, but there's nothing to cure it. There's no cure. She said there, like I said, there's 3 or 4 clinical trials. One of them is gene therapy. I don't know how that works, but I told her, I was like, this science is flippin' amazing, because it literally says it's like on the tip of this chromosome and it's blah, 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 blah. I was just like, Lord have mercy on my soul. So yeah, FHSD. I'll never be able to pronounce it. 7 years and 1 month. And I did it. I did that. So yeah, I am of firm belief that UT Southwestern dropped the ball. And while I should be saying, I don't want to go back, I'm also thinking, I just need someone new. I have a diagnosis. I need a new set of eyes. I need someone who works with patients with muscular dystrophy, because I can't see those 2. And I don't want to travel, but I'm willing to. You guys know, if you've been with me forever, I used to drive 3 hours one way to see my endocrinologist, who I loved. So I'm still waiting to get this goddamn pneumonia vaccine. Back and forth. It has to be very specific, and it's so flippin' dumb. And it still says, did I talk about that? I think I did. 19 plus. No, you gotta be 65. And he said there are 2 different ones. He's like, there's one where you never have to take it again. He said there's one where you do it now, a year from now, and again when you're 65. And he said, I think, you know, we should try for the 1 year. So he called the doctor. The other pharmacist didn't offer to do any of that. So I have no idea what's happening. But I reached out to my rheumatologist. I reached out to my pain management doctor. I reached out to my immunologist and let them all know that I have this diagnosis. I think if it affects anybody, it's going to be the rheumatologist and pain management. Let's talk about that. Lord have mercy on my soul. So 2 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks, November 3rd, I had a rhizotomy, a bilateral rhizotomy in like C3 through C7, C8. I don't even know how many C's there are, cervical spine in my neck. And that is an ablation. So basically, they inject you using an X-ray machine, and they basically burn the nerve. And so for 2 to 3 weeks after that, you deal with the nerves dying. I've had this done 3 times in my lower back, never noticed anything with it. This neck shit though, holy crap, is it next level? The injection side has been the worst. Like last night, I was like, oh my god, and Rob's like, but I was like, I gotta get this off. And I was like taking off my shirt and trying to get the lidocaine patch off. And I said, is it red? I said, is it infected? He's like, no, baby, no. And I'm like, it feels like it. I was like, I can't handle anything touching it. Even just my hair brushing it. Lord have mercy on my soul. So I reached out to his medical assistant because I see someone different that does the procedures. And she's like, yeah, unfortunately, that can happen. And she said, some people report that it feels like they have a pretty deep sunburn for 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm like, great. So literally in like texture, like this shirt Rob grabbed this morning was pilling a lot on the inside. And I said, I can't do this. I said, I can't. It's like, I 100% need something with has no texture on the inside. So I have this. I was tempted to go topless. I went topless last night because you guys, it feels like, it doesn't feel like a sunburn to me. It feels like you have like an infection, like you had a pimple that got infected or something, and it just, but it's the nerves, and the nerves I think are really close to the top of your, like really close. I didn't pay attention to anatomy. Not gonna lie. So yeah, as far as what's happening next, I honestly don't know what to tell you. As far as this medical stuff, like I said, I've reached out to everybody on my team to let them know I see my regular doctor next week to talk to him about it. I can't believe I was able to get in to see him that quickly. But my genetic counselor, she was like, do you have a good primary? He's like, I have the best primary. I said, I've been seeing him for 12 years. She's like, I definitely, get his help. She said, but if I were to recommend somebody, she said, it needs to be I would recommend someone with an MDA care center. And she said, it's unfortunate about those two. She's like, but I would, it's definitely something I would pursue. And like she said, it may be 1 or 2 visits a year because it's not like they're going to be giving me pills or anything like that. So I feel relief that we know, but I feel despair. Is that the right word? Is that the right feeling? To know that I'm not going to get better. The physical therapy and occupational therapy can kind of help strengthen the muscles somewhat, but they're going to continue to degenerate. There's not going to be any regeneration of the muscles. Like I'm going to continue to have them atrophy, which is, I think, wasting of muscles. And it says that like 20 or 25% of people end up in a wheelchair by the time they're 50, and I am close, 45. And I, like that Christmas video I posted, I don't know if this is going to go up today or it's going to go up tomorrow, I'm not sure. That Christmas video I posted, all of that footage on the inside of Christmas store was me in a wheelchair, Rob pushing me around. Because I knew with the way my neck is behaving, so I have a rollator, and I may need to get like one of the walking ones, but I have a rollator and it's a walker, but I have to bend down and push it. And it's basically impossible in anything bigger than like a Walmart neighborhood market. Like I've tried it with Costco, and I've literally set every three aisles, I have to sit down and take a rest. And I only use that in case there's not a scooter. So Decorators Warehouse didn't have a scooter, but they did have wheelchairs. Now we took mine is bariatric. It's weighted up to like 500 pounds. It's big, it's wide. And I told Rob, I was like, it's a good thing we chose not to use that. I said, because I wouldn't have fit. So, and we've talked before about how I am homebound. Like just talking to my therapist about going to see her, and she's less than 10 miles away. So it's like, I wanted some autonomy back, that's like, I wanted some autonomy back, and I don't think I'm going to get it. But like I said, on the flip side, oh, here comes the eye thing. But like I said, I am grateful to know what it is. I'm grateful to know that, yes, there was something wrong with me. No, it's not psychosomatic. No, I didn't make it up in my head. No, I'm not a hypochondriac. No, it's not because I'm fat. So, yeah. Oh, a pulmonologist. I have to reach out to one of them too. So I may have to have my primary start sending out these referrals. Lizzie. And like I said, I'm still going through with the exome sequencing or whatever it's called. And I'll get those in a few weeks, and we'll see what else may be on it. That's the big one. That tells you, heart disease, cancer, all of those ones. So yeah. The moral of the story is you know your body. I mentioned this on Monday. You know your body. You know if something's wrong. Don't let them gaslight you. If one doctor isn't working with you, you can fire your doctor. And I know I got flack for when I said that, a few years ago. You can't fire your doctor. The hell you can't. You don't go back to them. If you're seeing a doctor, you've been seeing this doctor for 3 or 4 years, and you're getting the same old song and dance, find a new doctor. Is it daunting? Absolutely. But is it worth getting a second opinion over being gaslit the entire time? Absolutely. And again, I mentioned before, it's impossible to get good hair when you're fat. It's almost impossible, I should say. And I 100% believe I dealt with fat bias. Why else would an MDA care center, Muscular Dystrophy Association care center, they're certified as a care center, why would neurologists who specialize in neuromuscular, and this is neuromuscular, why would they not run tests for muscular dystrophy? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Well, I don't think a biopsy would show anything, and I really don't know what test we'd order as far as genetic testing. I can't remember how to spell my last name, but I will always remember those relationships, or those conversations, I mean. So yeah, so on the doodly-doo, I am waiting to hear back from the pharmacy to say that yes, I can come get the pneumonia vaccine. I am waiting on a call back from UT Southwestern so that I can figure out if they're going to allow me to see a new doctor. And if not, I have to decide if I want to try to travel or what. I have friends in Houston that would probably let us stay with them. I have friends in Oklahoma City that would probably let us stay with them. It's just getting robbed time off, especially if they're 3 months out, because I cannot schedule anything past February because it's busy season. I mean, he worked at the table last night until like 11, and he'll probably do that tonight because he has bowling and stuff. But yeah. Till I see it, friends, we have a diagnosis. FHSD. I will leave a link to the Muscular Dystrophy Association's kind of page on that. She did say there's a pretty big nationwide network, and she's right. Like, I found a lot of resources for it. So I'm going to look and see if there's some groups and stuff in our area. And even if I don't get support, I feel like I want support for Rob. Like, I feel like he needs somebody to talk to about, fears and stuff like that without feeling like he's going to upset me. I don't think he needs therapy, but I think he needs someone who understands. And hopefully, we'll be able to find some resources and stuff like that. So I am hopeful. I'm mad, but I'm hopeful. I talked to my psychiatrist tomorrow. I feel like if I wasn't on this increased dose of antidepressant, I'd probably be losing my shit. But I feel like it's managing it. It's managing it. So yeah. FHSD. FHSD OPLL. LMNOP. I wonder if there's a correlation. Because the FHSD is like your shoulder blades. Like, a lot of times people have like shoulder blades that aren't aligned and they poke out a lot. I mean, mine might poke out if I, was normal size. But OPLL is also is in your spinal canal. So that might be why I have so much issue in my upper body, because I'm dealing with 2 diseases. My spinal cord has 0 room. I think I've told you that before. So it's like there's no room for it there. And then you have this on top of it, and it's like, whew, that's a lot. Okay, so I'm going to go. This is day 3 of me taking time off, and I've got nothing done. I finally went to bed last night. I told Rob, I was like, I gotta go to bed. He's like, okay. I said, I've got to take some medicine and just try to go to sleep. I said, because I have so much anxiety and anxiousness that I'm ready to go to sleep and get the day over with. And then I was up at 4:30 this morning sick, and I was like, great. Good job, Wegovy. Thank you very much. Someone asked if the Wegovy's not working. Here's the thing. Wegovy messes with your appetite. So, like, it makes me feel full, but it doesn't, like, there's no stopping putting wrong things in my mouth. So, and wrong for me are carbs. Complex carbs, simple carbs, all the carbs. So, this is what, okay, now I remember when I talk about this. I feel like I want to reboot and do ketovore-ish and do weekly updates and share with you guys all the meals I've eaten and stuff like that, rather than doing daily vlogs or whatever. You guys will have to let me know what you think, because now that I have this diagnosis and now I know kind of what to expect, I have a fire lit under my butt to get this weight off. When I see my plastic surgeon, I'm going to talk to him about a breast reduction. I know that I need to wait until I lose like at least another 100 pounds, but I know that I'm going to need a breast reduction to take some of the, like, pull off my shoulders to kind of prevent some of that. There is like a girdle you can wear, or like a really supportive bra. So we'll see what happens, but yeah. Oh, and I'm selling cards and stuff, so if you guys would go purchase them, I would appreciate it. We need a little boost in money, and I don't want to make any kind of GoFundMe or anything. I'd rather just sell stuff. So if you're interested, I have cards and stuff. It's listed in my Etsy shop, which is listed down below. So yeah, friends, I appreciate you. I hope you guys are having a good day, night, weekend, whenever you're watching this. If you're new, say hi. If you are someone that has FHSD or you're suspected to have FHSD, reach out. If you're someone with muscular dystrophy, please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. And even if you're, and then 50 to 80% of FHSD people or patients experience chronic pain. Yay. So that's why I'm like, though I think those two are going to be the ones that are affected the most. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, like I said, I am probably overwhelmed, relieved, ragey, furious. Just name an emotion. I'm probably feeling it. Grief, like sad. And I was debating on reaching out directly to my mother. My brother's like, I wouldn't. So I reached out to my uncle, who was her brother. And I said, I'm passing this along mostly for my niece. So, yeah. I'm like, if you guys have any of these symptoms at all, be sure to go check it out. She's like, didn't you say your brother has neuropathy or something? I said, yeah. She's like, he really probably should get tested. So we'll see. But again, there's really not much he can do other than what he's already doing. So I don't know. But yeah, I'll take you along with me for the ride per usual. So don't forget to subscribe. I think this is the first time in a long time I've posted a video without having makeup on. Well, no, the Christmas vlog I didn't have any makeup on either. Can I get back to enjoying that? That would be real nice. So yeah, new goal. Got to do it whether I want to or not. Here's hoping I hear back from somebody today. Somebody, please, somebody call me. And yeah, all right, friends. I was vlogging, but now I'm not. My blood sugar is stupid high because of like eating carbs this weekend, but also because of the stress. If you did not know, if you're diabetic, stress can cause your blood sugar to be stupid high. And so even like I remember when I was lived in Tulsa, and like in March my A1C was like 5, and then by May or June my A1C was like 12, and the only thing that had changed was my stress level. I had a job that I hated with the passion of 10,000 men. I hated it. Oh Lord, I hated it. So yeah. All right, anyway, okay. See, all of this excess energy. I love you. Thank you for being so flippin' supportive. You guys are the absolute best. I wouldn't be able to do this without your help. Your comments and all of it, just cheering me on, is just, it's just, I need someone in my corner other than Rob and friends and family. Like, I need a community, and I'm trying to build that here, and I hope that you feel that way, and hope that you feel my empathy and sympathy and just love, sending all of it to you. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye. I almost said peace out, Girl Scout, but I never say that. But peace out, Girl Scout.